Imagine yourself hiking, and after an hour, just to feel sure about your way, you ask someone for how to get to a certain mountain peak, and he did reply to you with, "It's easy. Do you see this natural arch? Behind it, you will start seeing your mountain peak. To arrive at it, just take one of the spurs to get to the saddle, then follow up the ridge line." If you have difficulties imagining what he did just said to you, this video is for you. Hello and welcome to this video of the online video course Wilderness Navigation Masters, where I will define a majority of the important topographic terms used in the wilderness. All that to facilitate communication between you and the other outdoor enthusiasts on the internet during planning, or just if you want to describe a place or a trail for another person. First thing I will start with is what is a summit. But before that, I want you to know that topographic terms may be different from a country to another, or just between two regions within the same country. So if someone say a canyon in a place of a gorge, it's not a big deal, especially that they are similar. So what is a summit? A summit is the highest point of a hill or a mountain. Mountain summit or mountain peak is the same thing. This is some examples of a summit. Here we have three summits: ridges and ridge lines. A ridge is a chain of high ground with the side dropping away in three directions and only high in one direction or one side. It's common between two mountain tops. A ridgeline is the top line of a ridge that are formed of points with the highest elevations. You will understand it well when you see these examples. So the marketplace in this photo is the ridge. The same thing here. For example, if we stand here, we will have sides dropping in these three directions and higher only in this way. This is a good photo that illustrates that a ridge is a chain of high ground. Spur. A spur is a lateral tongue of ground that juts out or sticks out from the side of a hill, a mountain or a ridge to lower ground. Usually it have steep sides. Sometimes spurs is what help hikers walk down from or get up to a mountain top. This is some examples of a spur. So here we have four spurs that stick out from a ridge. This photo is self-explanatory. Gully is the bonus topographic term that we can learn from this photo, which is the lower ground between two spurs. Here we have multiple spurs that stick out from this ridge. Here we have clear spurs, and if you notice, there is some little houses on the lower ground. A butte is an isolated hill with steep sides and flat top. I can see that you can't imagine these definitions before you see some photos. This is why I include them after each definition. A butte is not the surface, it's not the sides, it's all of what stick out from the ground. A similar photo, another similar photo. Did you see a real butte in your life? Leave us a comment below this video. This is a butte that juts out from something like a ridge. If you can't see how knowing these topographic terms can help you in the wilderness navigation, just imagine yourself getting guided by someone or the opposite. It's easy when you know that you can differentiate between two ridges when one of them have a butte like this. Another self-explanatory photo. Let's see the next topographic term. Saddle. Saddle is the low part between two higher grounds. If you stand On a saddle, you will have two higher sides on two opposite directions and two lower sides on the other two directions. And if a ridge line have a break in it, we can call that break part a saddle too. If you are familiar with contour lines, even we didn't get yet to the dedicated video about it, the contour lines of a saddle take the form of an hourglass, like you see here. Valley. A valley is a lowland area, usually created by erosion between two hills or mountains. A valley to be named a valley, it should be longer than it is wide. This is some examples of valleys. These photos are super clear. We have the mountains on both of the sides and the valley in between. Talweg. Talweg is a German word meaning valley path. In geography, it's the lowest line in a valley or a watercourse. And just for your information, in international laws, a talweg is what defines the boundaries between states. This is an illustration of a talweg. Like you see, the talweg is the black line, because when you see here, you know that it's the lowest line in this watercourse. Gorge and canyon. First, these two terms are geographic landforms that belong to a valley. If we have deep, narrow valley between hills or mountains, we can call it a gorge. And if we have a very deep, very narrow valley between very steep rocky sides, it's a canyon. Personally, when I see a canyon, I imagine myself immediately having breath difficulties. So, to differentiate between the two, when you see a canyon but you don't imagine yourself having breath difficulties, it's probably a gorge. Gorge examples. Like you see, here we have just a deep, narrow valley. Like you see here, in a gorge, even it's deep, you don't imagine yourself having breath difficulties even if you are at the lowest point. Canyons examples. This is a canyon. That's a good photo to illustrate the breath difficulties I was talking about. The same thing here. You feel like if there is no enough oxygen for you. A side note, before I go to the next topographic term, sometimes toponymy or places names don't reflect the correct topographic term. For example, the Grand Canyon is not a canyon, it's a gorge. It's very simple. Natural arch or natural bridge is a natural rock that have a hole underneath. This is some examples. Plateaus. Plateaus are relatively flat land areas that have some positive elevation above the surrounding area, with steep slopes on one or more sides. Examples. Here we see multiple separated plateaus. Here it's a little bit tricky to see that there is a steep side here. That's another clear photo of a plateau. And this is two illustrations from the website named eSchool Today. That's all for the topographic terms. Let's see the quizzes to test your knowledge. Quiz number 1. At what this arrow point on exactly? A. A ridgeline. B. A talweg. C. A saddle. Quiz number 2. Is this a canyon or a gorge? A. Canyon. B. Gorge. C. Both of the above. Quiz number 3. What is the name of the marked line? A. A ridge line. B. A talweg. C. A saddle. Quiz number 4. Is this considered as a natural arch or natural bridge? A. Natural arch. B. Natural bridge. C. None of the above. D. Both of the above. Answers and explanations. For the first quiz, at what this arrow point on exactly? The correct answer is C. A saddle. Why not the first answer? Because a ridgeline is not a point or part of something. It's a line like that. And talweg is also the lowest line on a valley. So the correct answer is C. In the quiz number 2, is this a canyon or a gorge? The correct answer is B, because it's just deep and narrow valley. And like we've seen before, if you don't feel the breath difficulties, it's probably a gorge. So it's not the answer A, a canyon, or C, both of the above, it's a gorge. This was a very easy quiz. What is the name of the marked line? It's a ridge line. I've added this quiz here even it's super easy to just help you more to remember what is a ridge line, because you will see it often in the wilderness. For the last quiz, is this considered as a natural arch or a natural bridge? The correct answer is D, both of them, because a natural bridge is the same as a natural arch, and it's what we see in this photo. One thing before I finish this video, I want you to be loose with these topographic terms, because they may mean different things even within the same country. If you see that someone tried to describe you a gorge and he said or he used the term canyon, don't correct them unless you see that he wants to learn from you, or he will accept your correction. If you see that there is another topographic term that I did not include in this video, use the comment section below to let me know. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.